Picture this, you just watched a show that you absolutely loved, and it happens to be an anime. For years, your friends kept recommending you animes, saying that they're not weird, anime is great, and you finally give one a shot, and you love it. You start watching more anime, it feels like you found a new room in your house that you never knew existed. How did you not know it was there this whole time? You are loving life with this new medium of amazing shows. Then, something terrible happens. You start watching Instagram Reels. You start seeing clips of your favorite show. Let's say in this situation, it's One Piece. A clip shows up of one of your favorite scenes from the show. It's deeply emotional, and you even shed another tear, like the first time you watched it. Then it turns out it's a video comparing the sub voices, which are the original Japanese voices, and the dub voices, which are the English voices. You think they both sound fantastic, and it deepens your love for the show. Then you make the biggest mistake of your life. You go to the comments. USA, 4 out of 10. Japan, 100 out of 10. Oh, English trash. Japanese, fire heart emoji. Oh god. Imagine a 70-year-old grandma doing Luffy's voice is wild. Oh, bad grammar. I don't know what y'all talking about. The sub Luffy sounded like they were dying here. It honestly did not sound good. Oh, Southern! Glad I watched this episode in dub because dear God. Get me out of this hell! Both are great. Sub glazers who just constantly bash on dub, however, very corny. Huh, that one's not bad. Bro, dub is 0 out of 10. You have to close the app. It's too much negativity. Then you sit pondering, why are people so negative? Both sound great. Are they hating just to hate? This situation leaves you baffled and defeated. Is this what the anime community is like? Just a bunch of crybabies who get mad if you watch a series in English or Japanese? And because of that situation, you drop anime. You've loved the shows that you've watched, but you just don't want to be associated with those types of people. So anime is way more accepted nowadays as a medium than it was in the past. If you grew up in the early 2010s and told some of your school friends that you watched Naruto, they would think you were weird and probably pick on you. I definitely had the mentality that anime was weird, except for Pokemon of course. Nowadays, anime is pretty accepted, with most people watching at least one series. Sure, there are still some sticklers who think anime is lame, but that's like saying, man, live action sucks. Like, what? There are so many different genres within the medium. You can't just say it's all bad. But there is still one thing holding anime back. The anime community. Now, I'm not saying everyone is bad. There are plenty of nice, genuine people that love anime, and will discuss it with you respectfully. But there are many loud, vocal groups that are bringing the anime community down. From people who talk about shows like If My Wife Becomes an Elementary School Student, to people wearing hentai shirts, to people who hate on everything that isn't Attack on Titan. And one of the worst groups of people, other than the pedophiles, obviously, they are in a league of their own, is the sub or dub glazers. People whose whole existence is to hate on others for watching a show in a certain language. There is a common argument that you will hear all the time from both of these groups. For sub glazers, it's always, the English version never has any emotion and sounds bad. And the dub glazers always say, why would you read a show if you could watch it? Both arguments are fucking stupid. I get it. When you're passionate about something, you want people to experience what you have experienced. And you might think that the voice acting in a different language won't provoke the same emotion as the one you watched it in. I will admit it, I used to be a sub glazer. But then I realized it's still the same story, still the same characters, and still the same emotion. Like, let's bring up One Piece again. Both sub and dub are great, and I watched it in both sub and dub, so I know what I'm talking about. Sure, there are things that I don't like about both of them. Like, I don't like Frankie's sub voice, and I prefer Luffy's sub voice. But guess what? I got over it. It's not that big of a deal. Since I've been watching both, I can tell you why people hate on the version they didn't watch. It's because you are used to the version you watched. For One Piece, I watched sub up until Skypiea, then switched because sometimes I like doing other things while watching shows, which I obviously can't read while doing other things. And at first, I hated the dub voices, but then I kept watching and saw the good in both the sub and dub. The reason why people can't accept other voices for characters is because they have listened to a character's voice and associated that character with that voice. So when they hear another voice come out of a character, they can't get over the fact that they sound different. I do get it, but different doesn't mean bad. Like, if you hate on either version of the I Want to Live scene from One Piece, you're just blinded. You're just blinded. They're both fucking fantastic. There are minor changes in dialogue from the languages as well, which some of you might bring up, but most of the time, it doesn't affect anything. Now, I don't like every dub and sub equally. Let's take The Disastrous Life of Psyche K, for example. I watched the first season in English and fell in love with the characters and their voices. But when I got to season 2, I found out they never made a dub for it, and I was heartbroken. I tried to watch it in Japanese, but I couldn't get into it for multiple reasons. The voices didn't feel right to me. The show is so fast-paced, and people are constantly talking over each other that it's hard to keep up while reading. And comedy for me is way better being delivered in a language you can understand. Most of the time when I'm reading jokes, they are funny, but they don't make me laugh out loud. But hearing a joke with good execution is always funnier than reading it, at least for me. Did you catch what I did there? I didn't shit on the version I personally didn't like. I explained why I didn't jive with it and didn't belittle people who did enjoy the Japanese version. If only everyone can do that and not be like, man, this shit is so ass, and to actually use words to articulate why you don't like something like an adult, then I think the anime community would feel a lot more welcoming. I'm not saying that you can't joke around with people about them watching sub or dub. I love the sub for Hunter x Hunter, and I finally convinced my sister to watch the show, but she watched it in dub, so I'll make jokes about that fact. And sure, I have been known to say I hate Leario's voice in dub, which I do, but that doesn't take away the fact that she got to experience the brilliant story of Hunter x Hunter, which is what really matters. This segment right here is for dub haters specifically. If there was no dubs, anime would not be as popular in the US. A lot of people just want to sit down after a hard day of work and watch a show without having to use too much brain power, which I have to say is pretty fair. So if there is no dub, they simply won't watch the show. Let's take Squid Game for example. I know it's not an anime, but it's still got a dub, so I'm including it anyways, I don't care. That show was a cultural phenomenon. It was one of the most watched shows in the world. And I believe if there was no dub, it would not have gotten nearly as big. That means not as many people would experience the story of Squid Game, and there is a chance it wouldn't have even gotten a season 2 or 3. Sure, some people don't like those seasons, but this argument goes for any show that you love that originates from another country. And I have first-hand experience with this. When the first season of Squid Game came out, my dad wanted to watch it with me, and we started with the sub, but he didn't want to read, so we switched to the dub. He said he wouldn't watch the show if we watched it in sub. I'll be the first to admit, I do not like the dub for Squid Game.
Played these games before! I said I played these games before! No!
To me, it's awkward, and the quality of the voice acting isn't great. But I got over it and still loved the show for what it is. With live action media from other countries, I usually watch it in sub because unlike anime where the mouths not being synced up doesn't bother me, I can't get over the fact that real humans are speaking but their lips are not moving correctly. There's also the thing how unlike anime where the characters are animated, these are people, and acting isn't just about the voice. It's about body movements and facial expressions. So live action, I prefer watching the original. But once again, I don't care what language you watch it in, as long as you get to experience the story. Parasite is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I don't give a shit if people watch the dub of it, if there is one, because like I said before, people are experiencing the amazing story. Same with movies like I Saw the Devil, Peppermint Candy, RRR, Perfect Days. The more people who can watch these movies, the better. So who gives a shit if it's in sub or dub? Now, I will admit, there is one TV show that is better in a certain language. I know this goes against my entire thesis of the video, but I think when I tell you what it is, you will agree with me. And of course, that is the English dub for Ghost Stories. If you don't know what Ghost Stories is, it's an anime that didn't perform very well in Japan, so when it came to the dub, they basically told the English team that they could do whatever they wanted, which created this masterpiece of comedy.
What do you want?
Thanks a lot, man.
Huh?
Come on, jump.
I said jump! Yo, Sensei, dig! What's haps on the craps with snaps?
Cracker.
I don't even know if the original version of Ghost Stories is any good, and I don't care. This shit is too funny. To end the video, I want to articulate how people see the sub and dub haters as huge ass hats. Basically, you are the type of person to go up to somebody reading a book and ask them what they think a character sounds like in the book. And when they tell you, you scoff at them and call them an imbecile. And correct them on how that character should sound. Yes, that's what you sound like. And if you somehow aren't convinced by that to stop hating, then you are definitely the type of person who yells at people for watching the Rick and Morty anime in English. In other words, lame-o, you're lame. Lame, lame, lame. Says the guy making an anime video. Touché. Anyways, that's the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel grow. What's your favorite scene from any sub or dub you watch? Let's try and drown out the negativity of the dub and sub glazers in the comments. Mine personally is that the voice actress for Naruto in the English dub is the same person who plays Principal Perry in Lab Rats.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna sort through your loose change and have a little heart-to-heart with the vending machine.
I guess there's no use crying over spilled milk.
Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.